No bipartite settlement till 22nd October. Clap for WEBANKERS. Mourn for IBA and UFBU. These are the type of messages we have been getting for the last couple of days through different social media platforms. All the messages suggest that the bipartite settlement has been stayed by Allahabad High Court and the IBA and unions cannot sign the final settlement now. The next hearing in the case filed by WEBANKERS is on 22nd October and the court has asked none other than the additional Solicitor General of the country to be present personally for the hearing. In the meantime, other messages are also pouring in, purportedly issued by the negotiating unions, assuring the members that the discussions are going on in the right direction and the final settlement will be signed within a couple of days. All these messages and discussions in the social media are causing unprecedented confusion and frustration among the bank employees who have been eagerly waiting for the completion of the 11th bipartite settlement. In the center of all these news and confusion is the WEBANKERS and the case filed by them in the Allahabad High Court. Let's first see who are these WEBANKERS and why they have filed a case against the settlement in the court. WEBANKERS, as per their website, is a voluntary organization of bankers in India of both bank officers and workmen, serving and retired. They are committed to bringing back the lost glory, dignity and self-respect of bankers, which have been lost through the last 5 bipartite settlements. They are fighting against the present pathetic condition of the bankers in terms of salary, pension and other working conditions. They are against the IBA and UFBU. They are against the present system of bipartite settlement for wage revision of bankers. Interestingly, they are not only against IBA but are also against the very idea of IBA representing the bank management in the wage negotiations. WEBANKERS has challenged the authority, competence and powers of IBA to negotiate and sign the settlement on behalf of employer banks. Because IBA itself has been constantly and repeatedly claiming that it is not an entity created by any statute and it is not registered either under Trade Union Act 1926 or Societies Act 2005. It is also not a public authority under the Right to Information Act 2005. Therefore, WEBANKERS is objecting to IBA representing employer banks because as per Section 36 of the Industrial Disputes Act 1926, they do not have any right or capacity to do so. Under these circumstances, it would be fair and reasonable in the interest of justice that Indian Banks Association, which is an illegal outfit, is replaced by National Tribunal as per scheme provided by law. This is the view of WEBANKERS. So, they want the government to consider their demand in accordance with the mandatory provisions of Section 12(5) of the Industrial Disputes Act 1947. Alternatively, the matter may also be referred to National Industrial Tribunal or referred to a specifically constituted pay commission exclusively for bank employees. If it happens, it would mean the end of 54 years old tradition of bipartite settlement, which is responsible for the present pathetic condition of bank employees according to WEBANKERS. In line with their objectives and demands, they have filed a case against the ongoing bipartite settlement. The writ petition was filed by WEBANKERS in Allahabad High Court, demanding action from the government in accordance with the mandatory provisions of Section 12(5) of Industrial Disputes Act 1947. In the petition, they have demanded equality in the matter of salary, pension and number of days per week at par with central government employees. There are 27 respondents in the case, including the Union of India and Indian Banks Association. As per a direction given by the court on 6/10/2020, Advocate Mr. Manoj Kumar Singh appeared for the Union government during the hearing on 15 October 2020. He produced a letter from the Ministry of Labour and Employment in the court. In the letter, it was mentioned that conciliation proceedings with regard to industrial disputes raised by WEBANKERS is still pending before Chief Labour Commissioner Central. As Indian Banks Association has informed that they are in the process of resolving the issue through bilateral talks, the next date for joint discussion will be fixed after consultation with both the parties. This was the information provided to the court by the Counsel for the Union Government. But this submission by the Counsel for Union Government was not acceptable to the judge. Actually, he was annoyed over the information given by the learned counsel. The reason was that the conciliation officer had already communicated to central government regarding the failure of the conciliation talks on 11th June 2020. Therefore, the court asked when the conciliation meeting between the petitioner, that is WEBANKERS and IBA, had already failed and it was informed Union Government, how can be the date for another conciliation meeting be fixed instead of proceeding under section 12(5) of the Industrial Dispute Act? The counsel for the government was not able to answer the question and he could not satisfy the judge also. Consequently, the Honorable Judge instructed Additional Solicitor General of Government of India to remain present in the court on the next date to apprise the court about the true factual position. Therefore, learned Additional Solicitor General of India, Sri Shashi Prakash Singh, is required to be present personally in the court when the next hearing happens on 22nd October 2020. So, this is the present position in the writ filed by WEBANKERS. And this is also the reason why people are claiming now that the bipartite settlement, which was about to be signed in a couple of days, cannot be signed. It is surprising to note, despite all these developments and utter confusion and disappointment in the rank and file of the unions, the leaders have not been forthcoming. No clarification regarding the case in the court or any other clarifications regarding the progress in the talks have been given by the union leaders till now. So bankers, we will keep our fingers crossed for the time being. Good luck.